Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Micaela and today I'm here with another talkie video blog on a subject that's kinda hard to talk about. By now, I'm sure you're already familiar with the phrase gaijin or gaikokujin. This literally translates to outside person, but it's a term that we use to describe foreigners in Japan. Foreigners can, for the most part, be broken down into two different types. The kankokyaku, the tourists, or the zaiju gaikokujin, the resident foreigners. The people who generally either they're working or they're in school or for whatever reason they're here for an extended period of time. And for me, as a foreigner who's lived in Japan for almost 11 years, it's very, very easy to tell the difference between someone who is just visiting and someone who has lived here. So I often get messages from people who are planning on visiting Japan long term. They want to be residents, they want to live here, and they're worried about certain habits or things that they might do that will make them stand out as foreigners. First, right off the bat, I have to say, obviously, if you look like me, if you've got the pale white skin and the fair hair, and you don't have any Asian features, it's gonna be really hard to blend in physically, and that's just something that will never change. But I do have a list of a few cringe-worthy things that foreigners who come to Japan who haven't really understood Japan do. So hopefully this list will kind of help you figure out what behaviors you need to kind of watch out for when you do visit Japan. Now this is just a list based on my personal experience, and if you are just traveling through Japan, if you're here on a vacation having a nice time, I don't think you need to worry too much about whether or not you stand out as a foreigner, because if you are a tourist, you are a tourist. There's nothing you can do about that. All I have to say to you is just be polite, be respectful, pay attention to your surroundings, don't be a jerk, and I'm sure you'll have a good time. Cringe-worthy behavior number 1, talking too loudly on public transit. Buses, trains, subways, are generally really quiet places. People like to sit, and while it's normal to have a conversation maybe with the person beside you in a low voice, you definitely do not talk on the phone. Talking on the phone is considered very offensive, and if you're with friends, you definitely have to pay attention to the level of your voice. When I first came to Japan, people would tell me that when I was getting really excited in a conversation, my volume, I would raise the volume of my voice. If I was telling a story and I was getting really excited, I would talk louder. And I remember so many times I'd be on the bus or train, my friends would just be like, shh, shut up, shut up. Like, keep going, but shut up. Like, you were just so loud. Sometimes you might witness bad behavior by a Japanese citizen, but that does not mean that it's okay. If a guy, is sitting on the train talking on his phone, chances are everyone around him thinks he's an asshole. At the end of the day, you are a guest in another country, and it is not about you. It's not about you all the time. But controlling these habits, no matter how essential they seem to be to you in that moment, is actually just a huge sign of respect to the people around you, and that's kind of one of the foundations of Japanese culture, is like respect for one another. So unfortunately that's a thing here, so please obey. Cringeworthy behavior by foreigners number 2. Being inappropriately dressed for any sort of occasion is a telltale sign that you just haven't been here long enough. Fashion is just, it's such a headache in Japan, and I'm sorry about that, but no, in Japan, people do put a lot of time and effort into their appearance, and one of the most embarrassing and humbling experiences is showing up to an event or showing up to a party, meeting people for dinner, and realizing you're just incredibly underdressed. Like, you just threw on t-shirts and jeans, and they've got jackets, they've done their hair, or the girls have perfect makeup and perfect hair, and you just feel like a mop. Not only that, but everyone around you will notice. They'll look at you and you'll stick out like a sore thumb, as if you don't stick out enough by looking like you do. When I first started teaching English and living in Japan as a worker and not a student, my boss gave me the advice that whenever you go to an event or a party or you're meeting people for dinner, you should always make it a secret contest to be the best dressed person in the room. And if you do that, you're kind of keeping up with them. You're keeping up, because I bet that some of them have the same goals as well. As long as you put some effort into your appearance and you show up feeling like you're looking great, you won't stand out as much. If you show up with like the confidence in what you're wearing and you're like, yeah, I'm totally killing it, then other people will kind of like accept it. I feel like the more insecure you feel, the more insecure you look. So that's a thing too. But yeah, definitely Japanese people are a little more fashion conscious. If you don't want to stick out like a sore thumb, you kind of have to try to keep yourself groomed, keep yourself clean, and keep up with what the people around you are doing, wearing, and stuff like that. Alright, so cringeworthy habit number 3. This is something that I've witnessed so many times that gives me like secondhand embarrassment. When you live overseas, it can be kind of hard to get your hands on relevant Japanese music or Japanese dramas or Japanese movies or anime or any sort of pop culture material. And something that you need to keep in mind about Japan is that the turnover rate for entertainers in the industry is insanely fast. So you may have found something really funny on the internet, a certain comedian or a certain movie or, you know, some sort of song, but just because it was relevant 2 or 3 years ago doesn't mean that it's going to be relevant today. And Japanese comedians will get popular and then they will just disappear. They just disappear. I don't even know where they go. Maybe you saw a video of Hard Gay on the internet and you thought he was hilarious, but I guarantee you that a lot of young people now, if you talk to them about it, they're not going to know who he is. So just be careful about that. Something that you saw in some obscure form of Japanese media isn't necessarily relevant in Japan. And oddly enough, like things that are not relevant in Japan at all become like really famous overseas for some reason. But I don't know, that's like a whole different story. Alright, and cringe-worthy behavior number 4. This is something that actually is a huge problem and I need to talk to you about it. Anyone who's been in Japan for a long time will know that Japanese are very, very protective about their own privacy. This means that, you know, they'll avoid television cameras because they don't want to be on TV, they don't want their face on TV. They'll wear masks in public so that people can't see their face. It's even part of why YouTube didn't catch on for so long in Japan, because people were not down with the idea of broadcasting their face and their opinions over the internet. So when you whip out your cell phone or your camera to take a picture of that guy that fell asleep on the train, if you're taking a photo of someone eating a bento in the park, or even worse, if you're taking photos of young girls in their school uniforms, it's just an invasion of privacy. It's an invasion of privacy and it's rude, and even if they don't say anything because they're afraid to confront you, they don't feel comfortable about it. If you absolutely must take a photo of someone or something and you're not sure if it's okay and you don't speak Japanese well enough to ask, you can always do the cameraman nod. The cameraman nod is really simple because you don't need to speak the same language to understand what you're asking. Usually, you know, maybe you'll show the camera, maybe point to it, and like ask with your eyes like this. If they look at you and they nod back, chances are they're aware that the big giant camera in your hand is going to be used to take a photo of them and they're cool with it. So if you can get that kind of communication down, then that's fine. But what I really don't like to see is people taking pictures of young girls in school outfits because it's cute or because it looks just like the anime, because at the end of the day, those girls are just trying to go to school and go about their daily lives. They're not there to entertain foreigners. So please, just out of respect to the people, don't take pictures of young underage girls or even like other citizens in Japan without at least getting permission. So those are 4 of the worst habits that I've seen from foreigners that haven't quite assimilated with the Japanese culture yet. So maybe you can keep those in mind when you come to visit. If it does seem kind of like a hassle and it's stressing you out and you're really worried about not fitting in, ultimately don't worry about it. Don't worry about it and just try not to be a jerk. Just be the best version of yourself that you possibly can be. Be respectful, be polite, be courteous, be kind, and don't forget to smile. And if you can just keep on top of those things, I'm sure your trip will go absolutely fine without a hitch. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out my second channel if you're interested in more like daily lifestyle videos, because I've started updating there now and that's a thing. And I promise I'm gonna try and keep it up, even though I'm really bad at promising and I'm really bad at keeping things up. Check it out if you're interested. Alright, so I will make another video soon. Talk to you later. Bye friends.